Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, September 1st, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 2021. Firefighters report progress against the flames near Lake Tahoe. Good news, but the big story. Damaging tornadoes, flash flooding from Ida's remnants rip through Philly, New Jersey, and New York. Keep calm. It's boom time. Remnants of Ida aren't finished. Tornadoes were reported in Maryland and New Jersey, and New York could be next. Pennsylvania got hit as well. Homes were literally removed from their siding. Well, let's take a look at the forecast and buckle your seatbelts.
Breaking now, severe weather alert as heavy rain, strong winds, and tornado threats sweep into the tri-state. People preparing for the worst, cleaning storm drains, power crews on standby. The city under a tornado watch. Storm Team 4 is standing by to guide you through this storm. Let's give you a live look at the Gowanus Expressway right now in Brooklyn as the heavy rain.
Now look at the amount, look at that. That is a recipe for disaster. One major thoroughfare. Imagine if that got cut off and there had to be an evacuation in this area. Absolutely insane. And I'm so happy that 6 years ago I got out of this nightmare. Let's continue.
Starts to move in as we speak. It is impacting your evening commute. Now, this is the hour where the heaviest rain, winds, and tornado threat begins to impact our area. We thank you so much for joining us right now at 7 o'clock. I'm Natalie Pasquarella. As we said, we've been watching those storms move from the south toward us all day long, and it's all part of what was Hurricane Ida. Those remnants have already dropped down tornadoes in Annapolis, Maryland. Take a look at this one there. Wow, it almost hit that car. You see the debris pelting it. And stop and look at this dramatic image right here. You see, those are children who had to be rescued from a school bus that almost got washed away in Fredericksburg, Maryland. Thankfully, though, happy to report those kids are okay. Now, all that intense weather is heading right for us. You see it on the radar there. Our team is in place, ready to guide you through the next 12 hours. Storm Team 4 is...
Well, we don't need their team, but excellent reporting as well. I wanted to show you some of the footage from the hurricanes, as well as the flooding and the children on the school bus. Give them a thumbs up here at NBC New York. They deserve it. I don't know why, but they deserve it. Now, we're just going to go over some of the things that are currently impacting the Northeast. New Jersey mayor describes tornado damage. Baggage area was flooded at the Newark airport. Take a look at that. Hope you're not traveling in that region. Water poured into homes in Lambertville, New Jersey. That is on the Delaware River. Voluntary evacuations called in parts of Trenton, New Jersey. And now residents in the island neighborhood of Trenton were advised to evacuate Wednesday due to fears of flooding from the Delaware River. Injuries reported in New Jersey's flooding. 7 people were injured when a building roof collapsed amid flash flooding in Hudson County near New Jersey. Water rescues ongoing in many areas. First responders in Essex County, New Jersey, were rescuing people trapped in their cars by floodwaters around 8 p.m., including multiple drivers stranded in the town of Livingston. Multiple rescues also ongoing in Middlesex County, New Jersey. Police were sent out there and an emergency alert advising people to remain indoors, stay off the roadways. Multiple roadways closed. Dozens of roads are closed or have water on them in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, or other parts of the Northeast. Here we see Wawa parking in Horsham, my old stomping ground there. Life-threatening flooding to continue overnight. The potential for heavy rainfall will expand northward across east through Wednesday night and could linger into early Thursday morning in the Northeast. People are trapped in their homes in Gloucester County in New Jersey. Here's some damage on Mullica Hill. That house is completely obliterated by a tornado. Multiple reports of damage in homes in Pennsylvania. There are also reports of multiple buildings with roofs ripped off, downed trees, and debris blocking the roads in northern Philadelphia and Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Homes were damaged in Chester County. We called out the Tri-County area is going to be the most major impacts there, and you could see the impacts there. One of several homes damaged in Chester County. Now, these are McMansions, basically made with particle board and a few screws. Look how thin the walls are. No wonder that got sucked apart. It's garbage. It's not even worthy of the $1 million it costs. Now, tens of thousands are still without power. Are you kidding me? There's over 1 million people without power, according to IDA. Water levels receding at the Wilmore Dam. That's good news. And so we'll leave you links to all this below. Let's quickly come over to Power Outage US to get the real facts before the mainstream coddled us into nonsense here. Louisiana still around 1 million without power. Totally about 1.1 million from the storm, 1.2 million currently without power. We have 920,000 still without power in Louisiana, could be out for weeks. 42 plus thousand customers out in Mississippi. We now have 113,000 customers out in PA, and that is rapidly increasing, just increased by double in the last hour. New Jersey has 76,000 out, New York 32,000, and the number is growing in the Northeast like a beast. Over 1 million people days after landfall still without power. And in Louisiana, well, 920,000 people could be without power for weeks. Now, Louisiana man presumed dead in Ida floodwater alligator attack survived Hurricane Katrina. Now, this unfortunate Louisiana man, 71 years old, actually survived Hurricane Ida and the floodwaters of Katrina. And as he was walking through some of the backwater, noon on Monday, a large gator attacked him outside of his home of Slidell, a city on Lake Pontchartrain across from New Orleans. Now, the man's spouse told deputies she heard a commotion, and it prompted her to go outside when she witnessed the attack herself and rushed to help her husband. She pulled her husband up onto a set of steps and went upstream about a mile to get help because she realized how serious the damage was. Well, that gator came and took her husband and took her out into the swamp, and he is missing and presumed dead. Our prayers go out to that, well, the man who survived it all to be eaten by a gator. Louisiana's last inhabited barrier island bore the brunt of Hurricane Ida, and they are urging people not to come back here by boat, planes, or road. Don't do it. Grand Isle, Louisiana's last remaining inhabited barrier island at the southern tip of the state, bore the brunt of the Hurricane Ida and was devastated by the Cat 4 storm's high winds. Take a look at some of these. Take a look at this picture. Holy macaroni. That's a complete loss. You probably barely find anything left in the house. About 40 to 50% of the houses are gone. 100% of the camps are damaged. They've been knocked off the pillars. They've just been destroyed. The people are very sad. A lot of people have lost their homes, talking about how they don't know whether they'll be able to go back or not because they don't have the money to go back. They can't afford to go back. It will take 4 to 5 years to get Grand Isle back to where it was, he added, if it ever does. Even before Ida, the narrow island had been increasingly under threat due to rising sea levels and sinking land. Sinking land. Rising sea levels has nothing to do with it. The fact that you're building on a barrier island, which is a moving sandbar, is stupid enough, let alone this many houses from bay to ocean. I mean, idiocracy in the making. Now, firefighters report progress against the flames near Tahoe, which is great news. South Lake Tahoe firefighters report progress Wednesday on the battle to save communities on the south end of Lake Tahoe from the approaching forest fire after stiff winds they had feared to materialize never happened. Now, they lucked out a little bit yesterday with some of the winds that didn't come quite as hard as they expected. According to Tim Ernst, the operations chief, and an inversion layer, a cap of warm over cooler air, then developed early in the morning today that put a real damper on things and slowed the growth, allowed them to get in there and really make some fire lines. So good news happening in South Lake Tahoe. But we're not out of the woods yet, kids. We just got 3/4 of an inch of rain here and had some minor flash flooding in our region. As significant floods and tornado threats, well, threaten the Northeast. Like a beast. Ida is forecast to become post-tropical today as it tracks across the mid-Atlantic into the Northeast. 2 significant hazards are expected with Ida interacting and merging with another front. A high risk for excessive rain and flooding extends from the central Appalachians to New England. Also, severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, damaging winds are possible. So it's not over yet, probably by tomorrow afternoon. Now let's jump over to Perth weather. We're talking Australia. Cold front to bring hail and snow before sunny spring days. Hey, haze. And take a look at the, well, temperature anomaly. That is 20 degrees below normal. Spring in Australia begins with intense polar cold as the Greenland ice sheet ends the season above average. And the fearmongers had pointed to these two melting events in all of the melt summer. So that's a 3-month period. And in a 3-month period, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 record ice building events compared to 2 melting events. I haven't seen one paper on the mainstream about those facts, but we just shoved them down your throat. Now remember, during the summer, there's supposed to be no ice building. In fact, there's supposed to be historically no ice building from the end of July, from the beginning of mid-June to the end of July, where we had 1, 2 record ice building events. Record year for ice building in Greenland, period. Seismic update. And there appear to be really no quakes of note, almost a complete quiescence across the globe. Uh-oh. Mount Etna volcano erupts for the 50th time of the 2021 season. In this satellite photo, take a look at the effusive lava. Europe's most active volcano, Mount Etna, has been spewing out lava, gas, and ash since February in, well, record-breaking ways. We've been reporting on it. Worldwide Volcano News Update. We have some new volcanoes to add to the list of active puffers and passers. Telica. Have you ever heard of such a word? Yes, Telica is puffing and passing, as well as Semaru, Ibu, Reventador, Nevados de Ruiz, Sonosima, and Pagan. And we're not talking pagans. We're talking Pagan, puffing and passing to 3,000 feet. A new member of our volcano family. Now, if you've been waiting for the KP5-6 geomagnetic storm, so have we. But apparently NASA, NOAA, and many others got it completely wrong, and nothing is actually happening. Nothing at all. Telemetry looks smooth. In fact, density is so smooth, it's almost like we just came out of KP0, which we did for 6 hours while we were all psychic as we were gathering data for this video. So it doesn't look like there's any major perturbations coming anytime soon. And that's a boom. But what we could be looking at is a major seismic event as we sit at the 180 phi angle. Very dangerous for seismic activity. So keeping a close eye on that for you. Who knew? Let's parse these pages up before we move. Now, did you guys know the FAA is investigating the off-course descent of Virgin Galactic's flight with Richard Branson? Well, no one knows, because a billionaire like Branson can cover it up. But he can only cover it up so long. Branson's flight to space was lauded as a total success, but new reports indicate otherwise. In fact, they indicate that half a dozen flights by Branson were claimed successful when they're completely off the mark. Now, who cares about billionaires like Branson and Bezos in their cockfight to get to space like little children? While what they really expect to do is charge millionaires and billionaires tons of money for a 15-minute ride. And they don't fuck about what the cost is to that for their marketing plan. Now, what I see in the near future is that they're going to rush this race to space for billionaires, and a bunch of billionaires are going to die in an accident. Branson's planes alone are known to flip around and be unstable in almost all of his landings, including the most recent one where it was off the mark. And the FAA is investigating. So if you got tons of money and you're about to get shot in his face, you might want to reconsider Ashton Kutcher. Hello? I said it. Maybe I just saved his life. Now, breaking news, 2 top FDA officials resign over the Biden administration's booster shot plan, saying it insisted on the policy before the agency approved it, report says, which is totally egregious and against all ethical things we can think of happening to American citizens. Period. And it gets worse. Japan finds black particles in the vaccine. Now the vaccine is not approved for use in the U.S. yet, but the fact that in multiple occasions Japan has put batches of this on a hold after foreign substances were found in the vials. In this case, black particles. And we're not racist. We're just reporting on the facts. Now, a breathing tube through the butt could be an alternative to mechanical ventilators, and this breakthrough is happening now. Inspired by animals that breathe through their butts, scientists show that mammals can also harness the incredible breathing ability of our anus. And this is, well, reality. That's not even fake news. That's just the tube up your butt. Speaking of butts, Americans are stocking up on toilet paper again. P&G has increased production. I almost said anyway. There are no electricity retailers that are actually making toilet paper, but P&G has increased production, and some retailers say orders are being limited as demand surges. Now, thankfully, we have over 100 rolls of the toilet paper butt wiping goodness here at the ranch, so we never have to worry about a crunch or Americans stocking up on toilet paper ever again. And that's a boom to knowledge. Hope you got something out of the video. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's funny, but nothing is funny about a dystopian world that we're all living in. A rat race comprised of, well, no prize at the end of the race. We should all be thinking how to repurpose, rethink, and regenerate our lives. One day at a time, one thing at a time. Ways to make it easier. Ways to make it, well, more pleasurable. And ways to detach from the insanity that is being pushed into every orifice of your body. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. And thank you to the heroes that share these videos. We are blocked on most major social media sites because the information we give is so raw and visceral that they can't handle the truth. That's a boom. Click on one of the other boxes to gain more knowledge. And we'll see you soon. Nanu. Good nanu. Nanu, nanu.